The ship docked in the Port of Livorno. This port is where you can easily access both Pisa and Florence. Your options are to go on a short excursion created by the cruise liner that you're with, or you can self-navigate and do it yourself and make your way to both Pisa and Florence. Because we're in port overnight and it meant we had 2 days to explore and no risk of missing the ship, we decided for this occasion we were going to do it ourselves. Top tip, definitely have Google Maps at the ready and probably a phone battery pack charger as well, because if you're relying on your maps you don't want your phones to die. But what we did, we took the bus tour from the ship to the middle of Livorno, which is put on by NCL. I think there was a small fee related to it, less than €10 from memory. It dropped you off in a part of Livorno which is not anywhere near the train station, so you have to make your way to the train station. You can walk, it's about half an hour walk, they say 15 minutes, it's not. Or you can get a taxi, and there's a taxi stop right next to where the bus drops you off in Livorno town centre. We bought our tickets at the train station on the day. Really important thing here is you need to scan the tickets before you get on the train. So this is platform 3 at Livorno train station. We've just bought our tickets and stamped them in the green machines. Okay, so Leo, what has been your favourite bit on the cruise so far?
It's been when we went on the waterfront. So if you want to go on this cruise ship,
called NCL Breakaway.
NCL Breakaway, you can go on these slides, and the blue one is very fun because you can go down, and as you lean back, it goes really fast, and it makes how down. Well, my sister here, yeah. she ran the yellow and purple.
What did you think of them, Ari? Leah, let Ari talk now.
My favourite water slides is the yellow and purple. But my favourite is the yellow.
Why is it your favourite?
Because it has a super boost.
Whoa.
And it's super fast. My dad, and it's really turny. And my dad over here, he is scared of it now.
I'm so scared of it, but I did go on it a few times, and it is rapid, absolutely rapid. And I thought I was going to black out from the G4.
And Daddy, and my dad, he went on a drop slide, and the drop slide is so fast.
The drop slide was really, really cool, especially when they played Star Wars theme tune or the Rocky theme tune right at the beginning. That was really cool.
Oh, so if you guys want to watch our video, just comment our names. And my dad called James, and Ariana and Leo.
Good one, Leo. How many slides did Mummy go on?
She goes on none.
No slides.
Here we go, double-decker train to Pisa. Wow, we've got it all to ourselves, guys. Look.
Guys, we can sit here together.
The trains are really easy to navigate, both getting onto them and when on there. So they had the screens like that where you could see what stop was coming up next and if the toilets were available. They were quite spacious, they had plugs, they had good views. It was very different to UK trains. You had an upstairs and a downstairs. It was quite accessible for wheelchair users and for people with buggies, and that's a view of the toilet. Ariane and Leah just on their iPads to pass the time because it did take about 2 hours.
We got the 9:26 train from Livorno to Prague. And now we're here at 11:23, so about 2 hours.
And we changed at Pisa.
We changed at Pisa because otherwise we had to wait for another hour for the next direct train, so we just changed and got here essentially an hour earlier than we otherwise would have.
Now we're in Florence. I had pre-booked us on hop-off ho-ho bus, which was a 4-minute walk from the train station, really easy to find, and I did that through Viator. Here we are in the main Florence train station. Big boards up there tell you which train to get on, big ticket lounge. We had originally planned to do Florence one day and Pisa the next, but because the train tickets have been quite expensive and as the train stopped in Pisa anyway, we decided to do it all in one day. This meant we had a little bit less time to do Florence, and so we couldn't do both of the bus routes. One goes much further out of town. It also stopped at a really lovely viewpoint, which if we'd have had more time we would have got off, had a drink and ice cream, looked at the viewpoint and then got back onto the next bus. Instead we did one full route of the main tour and got off at the nearest stop to the museum where we were going to see the statue of David. This is the viewpoint here. Lots of people got off here. There was a beautiful restaurant and it looked like a lovely place to have a great view of Florence. The cafe, the stop, and then over this side is the viewpoint, and you go over into
See, it's the bridge.
We really enjoyed walking through the windy streets of Florence. It's such a beautiful city. There are so many shops and different people doing different crafts that you can see. There are apparently wine windows where they pass you glasses of wine through a tiny little window in the walls, which we sadly didn't find. But I did find the world's biggest Lindt shop. It has to be. The amount of choice of Lindt balls in there, and Lindt Easter eggs, and Lindt bars, and they even had a Lindt coffee shop serving Lindt hot chocolate. It was just incredible, and it's right next to the Duomo. So I would say if you need to stop for any reason and have a refreshment, head into this. It looks tiny at the front of the shop. It is deceiving. It goes so far in, and it was just amazing. There was some Lindt bunnies that were the size of a dog. It was mental. Sold out today. If you wanted to go in, you can't just get tickets on the door. Oh, 463 steps, €30 to get in. Just in case it's of use, you can't have your shoulders or your legs uncovered. It's closed on a Sunday, and they say it takes about 30 minutes to do the visit. I think there's a free entry part, and then there's other parts you have to get tickets. And like I say, it was sold out on the day when we went there. So if you want to visit it, then you need to book in advance. This was a shop where you could leave your luggage. So you had a lot of big bags with you for the day, and these are the prices that you can see there. And that was right next to the Duomo. We explored Florence on our own, just wandering about. We didn't really have too much of a plan other than our museum entrance timing. So we just wandered through the streets and just soaked in the beautiful different buildings and the atmosphere. It was really busy, lots of people around, lots of different groups, lots of schools, lots of people travelling probably from other cruise lines as well. And there was always something to see, loads of different shops, really interesting things like these golden doors that we just came across. And then we headed off to our museum. If you don't want to see Michelangelo's David, definitely fast forward this bit, spoiler alert. We had pre-booked our tickets using Get Your Guide, so we had a timed entry slot. The lady out the front was great at pointing you into which area zone you had to go stand in. There were zones for different time tickets, and there was also a very long queue for the people that hadn't bought tickets yet. We got in very quickly. There was a bag check, and you pretty much immediately walk out and see the David statue, which I was quite surprised about then. It was very stunning, and I'm really glad I went to see it. There's lots of other really beautiful artwork in there as well, and statues around, so probably spent 30-40 minutes in the museum in total. It was quite busy. It was all sort of one way, and there's a big gift shop at the end too. So James is explaining this is the square where David's statue originally stood. And now there's many shops and restaurants, and Chanel if you enjoy buying expensive clothes, and rickshaws. We decided to start making our way back to the train station, but we did that on foot, and we just wound our way through the streets using Google Maps, came across this awesome little duck shop. Everyone loves hiding ducks around the cruise ships at the moment, and then we were all really hungry, so of course we had to find an amazing Italian restaurant to eat pizza and pasta. The restaurant was really reasonably priced, really tasty, and about 5 minutes from the train station. We headed back to the train station and got on a train, making sure it stopped at Pisa. We then got off and got a bus, which you can buy the tickets for as you get on the bus using a card, but you can have to use a different card for each person, which was really unusual. Or you could buy the bus ticket before you got on the bus, which is what we would recommend for the little machine next to it. Very cheap bus. Return ticket took about 15 minutes, and then we arrived at Pisa. For us, this was our second time visiting Pisa. The children had never been, so we knew that there isn't that much to see here. So although we were arriving quite late, I think we got here about 6:30, 7 p.m. in the evening, and I think it shut at 8 p.m. We knew that that was more than enough time for us to see what we wanted to see. We didn't have any intention of going in the buildings or climbing up the tower itself. And I think if you want to do any of those things, you should buy the tickets in advance as well to make sure you can get into them, because I think they're quite limited access. But an hour and a half was more than enough time for us to have a good walk around, take some pictures. It was a lot quieter because it was the end of the day and there was a bit of rain, so I think that was in our favour. So we got the bus back to the train station. This was quite easy to do. You just went to the other side of the road and it would tell you when the next one was due. You stay on the bus all the way to get to the train station, and then at the train station we got a taxi back to where the pickup point was for our transfer, so we jumped on the next one. I think the last one was at 10 p.m. and we made, I think it was the one before the last one, and that took us straight back to the cruise ship. As someone that always wakes up hungry to the point where I get hangry, Leo came with me and we headed for a breakfast buffet. James and Ariana decided to have a little bit of a lie-in and met us later, so we had time for a game of table tennis before meeting up them at the sports complex. Basketball, football, and above you can see that's the sky ropes course that goes all the way over. It starts on this side. I did this bit with Leo and then bailed, going back down the stairs. You go up and down the same place. But Ariana and James went all the way over. There's like a zip wire part of it as well, and if it goes all the way to the other side, I'll film it more clearly later. And this is the stadium, so you have a couple of foosball tables ready to go. No, you don't pay for them, they're just whenever you want to use them. Got a couple of these tables, a zip shuffleboard maybe, and then this place is to store your drinks. And over here, it's really loud there, I don't know what that noise is, it's some sort of machine. Here is the start of the high ropes course, so you go up those steps and it is really high, and then you walk along these and you have to hold on to the ropes and the rings. For some bits you're literally balancing on a plank, and it was yeah, it was a little bit much for me and Leo. The other side of the sports court, and you can see the high ropes course carries on all the way around here. Lots of ropes hang off, boards to walk across. And this side here, I didn't have my phone because I've been up there with Ari. You're not allowed anything in your pockets at all, but Ariana and James got to this point here where I think that's the walk the plank bit, but also there's a zip wire and it goes from there all the way to the other side. They're just in there at the moment playing football. These were the rules related to the ropes course. Make sure you leave anything valuable in the safe before you come up, and it was free to go on. So these are the two drop slides. My husband says they are really, really fast. And they played music. I think he said he had Darth Vader, Star Wars music, and Rocky as he was dropped down, and you come out of this bit here really fast. A little bit of info on the sports complex, basketball, pickleball, and also not to throw things in. So on this deck we have the jogging track. Start here. 5 laps to do 1k. As my husband said, I think we'd go crazy if we had to do that, and there's actually lots of people that just walk on it as well, so probably not the most ideal. We just get on the treadmill in the gym as his view. In port today you can see quite a few different ferries and cruise ships, and there's some of the buses leaving. So when you go on a short excursion you come out through here in those buildings there, and then you get taken on the buses. Some of the buses are just transfers if you're doing your own thing. They are €7 per adult, and then you only pay for children if they're over 12 from memory. I think it was €3, and that's return. It takes you to the town centre, which is somewhere over there, Livorno, and then you can get on with your day. As this is day 2 in Livorno, a lot of passengers had got off to either visit Pisa or Florence, so the ship was much quieter. We enjoyed the ship day, and also we saw a TUI ship, Marella, over the other side, and they were actually the very first cruise line we ever sailed with nearly 20 years ago. Is there a better view? The sun is shining, the sea is blue, and so is the sky. Had worse Thursdays. 12 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun's out and all the beds are being used, but they do seem to have lots of spare beds, so I'm not sure if you can just pull them out if you need them. Over here you've got the slides, they don't open till the afternoon, but the pool's open. This pool is just for the little ones. So you have this pool here, and then you have the kids' splash park over there. This is the first time our children have been old enough to enjoy water slides, and the weather had been good enough to really use them. Once they found their confidence, they just went on them again and again and again. Leo only went on the smallest slide, but Ariana managed to go on the yellow and the purple one and made a little friend, and they would just keep going on them again and again. James went on these and said they're actually really quite fast with a bit of G-force behind them, but she just really enjoyed it. The water slides were totally free to go on. They were open lots during the cruise, and the queues never seemed that bad. Just in case useful, this was the drinks menu as per the bars next to the swimming pools, and and probably only had to wait 5 minutes, if ever. Most of the time got served immediately. Really good service. Next we headed for lunch at the Garden Cafe on deck 15. This is the buffet. I have filmed this a little bit quickly, apologies, but I do worry about getting in the way. Really good choice. Very good options if you had any dietary requirements. The food tasted very fresh. Lots of options that the kids would eat as well, and they had a whole section with the usual burgers, etc. Really enjoy a buffet, and NCL's was no different. The American Diner venue was only opened once during the whole cruise that we noticed, and we didn't get to go to it on that day. At the time, it just didn't work with what we were doing, but yeah, so we didn't get to try it, and it was only open once. Our kids really enjoy Kids Club, and they told us that the NCL one is actually their favourite so far. We really liked it because it was so unplanned. You could just drop off the kids whenever you wanted to. So we had a little bit of a date night, and we had a meal booked at CAGNEYS, which you knew the kids would enjoy, and they went off and played lots of games and made lots of friends. We had 2 specialty dining meals included with our booking, and we booked CAGNEYS and we booked the French Bistro. When we got to CAGNEYS, they tried to seat us inside, but we asked would it be okay to sit outside, and we're really glad that we did because the weather was perfect. It was quite sheltered from the wind, and it's just really nice to be able to eat outside. You can't really do that in England very often, so we took full advantage. The food was brilliant. Really enjoyed the steak that we had. The puddings were great. Here's a little shot of the dessert menu. James enjoyed his cheesecake, and I went for the best chocolate cake I've probably eaten in a long time. By fluke, we'd managed to book our dinner for exactly when the sun was setting and the ship was leaving the port, so it was really nice just to sit out and finish our meal watching the view. Leaving the Port of Livorno, turning the ship now, and we're following Marella Explorer 2, and the sun is setting. We stumbled across the not so newlywed quiz, which was really funny. Again, the cruise director was brilliant here, as were the guests. They just really up for a laugh, so highly recommend watching it, maybe even getting involved if you're lucky enough to get picked. We ended the night watching the magic show, which was really good fun.